Hey ratbags, it's Jade with more info now about the Subnautica drama that's going on, and it looks like the devs that were fired by Krafton are going to fight back. Charlie Cleveland has put out a second post detailing what they're going to be doing. Hello everyone, it continues to be explosive and surreal time for the Subnautica team and community. None of this is what we wanted, but we truly appreciate the amazing support we've gotten from everyone. It means a lot to us, especially now. As I wrote last week, we know in our souls that the game is ready for early access. That's just how we roll, and we'd like nothing more for you to play it. Game devs live for this, but it's currently not under our control. We've now filed a lawsuit against Krafton. The details should eventually become at least mostly public. You'll deserve the full story. Suing a multi-billion-dollar company in a painful, public and possibly protracted way is certainly not on my bucket list. But this needs to be made right. Subnautica has been my life's work and I would never willingly abandon it or the amazing team that's poured their hearts into it. Now there were some reports that the earnouts, basically $250 million that Krafton are basically refusing to pay by delaying the game, that might have only gone to the founders. But according to other reports from Jason Schreier, 10% of that, was going to be going to the rest of the team. There's about 100 developers work for Unknown Worlds. So it still would have meant a lot of money for everyone. We're talking like $100,000 bonus maybe potentially, maybe even more for some of them. And when you factor in years of crunch, learning your craft and at any time being fired by companies, no one should be grudging some devs getting some maybe life-changing amounts or even something smaller to help them through some times. But as for the earnout, the idea that Max, Ted and I wanted to keep it all for ourselves is totally untrue. I'm in this industry because I love it, not for riches. Historically, we've always shared our profits with the team and did the same when we sold the studio. You can be damn sure we'll continue with the earnout bonus as well. They deserve it for all their incredible work trying to get this game into your hands. Stay tuned, Charlie. So that's pretty explosive stuff. Going public and saying they're going to fight Krafton, I'm sure it'll probably end up in some sort of settlement. But yeah, it gets bigger. But Krafton have been hitting back. A few days ago, they tried to brush it over that they weren't delaying the game to stop paying out a $250 million bonus. It was all down to the quality. And some of you guys have been asking and saying that of course the developers are going to say the game's ready for early access because they stand to gain a lot of money from it. And yeah, that's absolutely true. And some of you also pointed out that actually the previous early access launches for Subnautica and Below Zero were a little bit spotty. It definitely had some content with Below Zero, maybe more than the original Subnautica, but there were still major issues with it and a lot of agreement that maybe it could have spent a bit more time in the oven, especially as they ended up rewriting massive chunks of the story and stuff. But going on face value, hearing what the developers said, hearing that they've had lots more time and investment via being bought out, it does seem like they would be in a much better position to get the game in a great state for early access this time. Krafton, though, have done even worse than that. Krafton accusing studio founders Charlie Cleveland and Max McGuire of effectively abandoning Subnautica 2's development to focus on other projects, including an independent movie by Cleveland with a podcast and AI-generated movie posters, despite repeated requests by Krafton for them to return to work. With the game originally expected to reach early access in early 2024, it's already significantly delayed and Krafton claim it's significantly lacking in content for even this stage. And here's the bit that got, I think, corroborated by Jason Schreier, although Krafton are kind of twisting it here. Krafton states that, 90% of the $250 million payout would have been reserved for studio executives Cleveland, McGuire and former CEO Ted Gill. Importantly, Krafton now state for the rest of the Unknown Worlds team, they reaffirm our commitment to provide the rewards they were promised. The purchase agreement, what they originally had, would mean there's $25 million to be divided between roughly 40 employees from a team of 100. Okay, so maybe not the 400's getting a big one. Maybe that's what Charlie was alluding to in sharing some of the profits they got with the whole team. It's also still tied to revenue targets. So this is pretty crazy stuff. The statement does go into more details than what TSA really reported. And yeah, accusing Charlie Cleveland of spending more time on his personal project instead of going back to being the game director of Subnautica 2. Supposedly him and the technical director both declined to do so. I've always had a soft spot for Subnautica and Charlie Cleveland. I found his insights into game dev really great. And not that I'm supporting the big corpo in Krafton, But they might have a point in terms of what Charlie Cleveland's been up to, in recent times at least, on appearances, talking about his love for movies and producing and making them. Now, appearing on a podcast doesn't mean he can't work on Subnautica, but working on a solo film, maybe, that is definitely something a bit more. But for companies that usually, as I said in the last video, sell their company on, they often become just figureheads. Like, when you become the big boss, how often do you get down in the trenches with the troops? So I don't want to defend too much, because it might actually be the case that they haven't actually been pulling their weight in getting Subnautica 2 ready. And if that's the case, then I think Krafton have got every right to, you know, make some sort of moves. But at the end of the day, if the Krafton contract that they drew up with Unknown Worlds at the time didn't stipulate exactly how work would progress from them as the CEO, as the creative director, as the technical director, then that's on Krafton for not really making sure their contract was iron tight. So yeah, I can see both sides. You can have creative directors, you can have CEOs that are going to be putting their fingers in other things. But I can also see Krafton's point of view that might seem like it's taken away too much from the game that they've spent a lot of money on, and potentially are going to be spending even more money on paying out bonuses, and they want it to do well, obviously. The focus really is here on Charlie, because the other devs just aren't really as forward facing. I don't think I've really come across anything from the CEO or the other technical director. But yeah, I hope it does get sorted out. The most obvious thing, like I said, would be a settlement, making sure that the staff do receive the bonus that they're going to get regardless of whether or not hit their sales, or change the actual parameters a little bit so that in 2026 it's going to be a fair target to hit. A lot of you guys have been commenting and saying that you're going to remove Subnautica 2 from your wish list and hide the game and everything else. I honestly, and I'm going to be truthful, and you don't have to dislike the video just because we have different opinion, I think it's really stupid to go ahead and do that. We don't know what the game quality is going to be like. This drama behind the scenes isn't really fair on the actual team that are actually putting their heart and souls into making Subnautica 2. The original Subnautica was not designed and made by just one person, it involved a team. Below Zero involved a team. So to my mind, the idea that people are really going out of their way to boycott a game or crap on it and stuff purely because of some changes with the leadership is pretty poor. Yes, we need to rise up, especially if Krafton are dodgy and trying to stop people getting some bonuses. But I think it's a little bit too maybe dramatic to go, that's it, I'm blocking this game, don't want to see it ever again. And trust me, I've seen them types of comments all over, not just on my videos. And somehow it's actually gained 2,500 in the last 7 days. So although some of you guys are saying you're not wishlisting it, this has actually brought more attention to the game. Maybe some of you guys want to show your support more for the team that are currently making it, regardless of whether or not Krafton are dodgy, by going ahead and wishlisting it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the thing that's going to get the team that are currently working on the game more money, is if it sells well. So give me your opinion. Obviously, some of this is speculation. We don't know the ins and outs. We don't know how much work the founders were really doing on Subnautica 2, whether or not it was even in their contract that they had to do more than what Krafton wanted, perhaps. And likewise, we don't know that Krafton are just simply trying to save themselves $250 million by firing people that would have had a real big benefit for the game, especially during its early access run as well. This is going to drag on, and I guess we'll get more news if and when it proceeds in court. Until next time, ratbags, laters.